very good morning, dear students. So let's continue with the explanation of the chapter Motion and Time. So in the last class, if you remember, we had studied about what is speed. Okay, we had also studied what are the units of time and speed. Okay, so what are the units of measurement we had studied how you can measure time, and this was the last part that we were discussing in the last class, that many time measuring devices were used in different parts of the world before the pendulum clocks became popular. So what were the time measuring devices? They were sundials, then you had water clocks, you had sand clocks. Okay, so these were the examples of such devices, and different designs of these devices were developed in different parts of the world earlier. So now I told you that I would show you the pictures of different time measuring devices. So this is a sundial. Okay, so as you can see, there are some markings here. Okay, these markings will tell you the time. That is 12 o'clock, then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that way it goes up to 12 o'clock again. So these were the different markings. Now this you can see, it is a kind of a stick. Okay, so when the sun rays will fall on the stick, what will happen? Suppose the sun rays are falling on the stick, then on the opposite side of the stick, the shadow of the stick is casted. As you can see, this is the shadow of this stick, okay, which is casted when the sun rays fall on the stick. So when the shadow of the stick is casted, okay, according to the position of the shadow, the time can be said. Okay, that what is the time of the day. Okay, so if the position of the shadow is here, then suppose this is 10 o'clock, this is 9 o'clock, so between 9 and 10, so it should be 9:30 or 9:20, that way. Okay, so according to the position of this shadow, you can say what is the time. Okay, yes. So these are different other time measuring devices. Like this is the water clock that we were discussing in the last class. There is water clock also. So here are some markings, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, as you can see. So this water actually will tell you the time. Okay, so according to how much water is falling, and according to the marking here, the time could be told. Okay, so this was also used in earlier times. This is the hourglass, okay, or the sand clock. So sand clock, you can see this. I think you must have seen this nowadays also. You have, okay, sometimes in offices and all, this is kept just for show. Okay, it's just an antique piece. So this is the time is set according to how much sand is falling on the second container. Okay, so there are two containers, as you can see. Now suppose all the sand will fall on the second container at an interval of 1 hour. Okay, so when this container is full, suppose sand starts to fall, till the whole container is filled up of sand and this is empty, time passed is 1 hour. Similarly, now you will invert the hourglass. So once you invert, this will come in the top, this will come in the bottom. Now from here the sand will fall here. Okay, so when the whole container becomes empty, the time is 1 hour. Okay, so accordingly, the time could be told. Okay, so now measuring speed. Now another activity is there, 13.3, which is not required. Okay, so you may now like to compare your speed of walking or cycling with that of your friends. You need to know the distance of your school from your home or from some other point. Okay, so if you want to compare the speed, you should know how much distance you need to travel. Okay, suppose the distance of your school from your home is these many kilometers, suppose 20 kilometers. Okay, so 20 kilometers, how much time you will need and who will travel faster? Okay, so that will have that person is going to have the maximum speed, the one who travels faster, okay, and reaches earlier. So each one of you can then measure the time taken to cover that distance and calculate your speed, isn't it? So you should know the distance. So once you know the distance, time, you can see how much time you need. Okay, and accordingly you can find out your speed, because speed is equal to distance divided by time. So suppose the distance is 20 kilometers and time, how much you need? Suppose you need 10 minutes. Okay, so distance by time, that is 20 by 10, okay, will give you the speed. Okay, how much speed? And 20 by 10 is how much? If you calculate, then you will get the answer. Suppose you get the answer, whatever answer you get, that should be in like 2 meters per second, or it should be in the proper unit. Okay, it has to be written. Okay, like 10 twos are 20. Okay, so your answer will be, suppose 20 by 10 is 2. Okay, so your answer will be 2 meter per second. Why meter per second? Because the distance is in meter and the time you calculate that will be in seconds, so it is 2 meter per second. Or if it is minutes, then it will be 2 meter per minute. Okay, so according to that you will your unit will change. Okay, once you know the speed of an object, you can find the distance moved by it in a given time. Okay, so how much distance, that you can calculate if you know the speed. Okay, so distance covered will be speed into time. Now what is speed? Speed is distance by time. So distance will be speed into time. You should remember this. So distance covered will be speed into time. So if you know your speed, if you know how much time is taken, you can also find out the distance. That is multiplying speed and time. You can also find the time an object would take to cover a distance. Suppose you know the distance covered, you know the speed, but you don't know the time. So you have to calculate the time. So how you will calculate the time? Time is equal to distance by speed. So time will be equal to distance divided by speed. So speed will go here down. Okay, it will be distance by speed. That will give you the time. So you should remember these formulas. First formula is speed is equal to distance by time. Second formula, distance is equal to speed into time. Third formula, time is equal to distance divided by speed. Okay. Now you might have seen the meter fitted on the top of a scooter or a motorcycle. Similarly, meters can be seen on the dashboards of cars, buses and other vehicles. Dashboards means where the driver sits and drives his car. Just on the top, in the front of the driver's seat, there is a board. Okay, and in that board, I think you must have seen, it shows how much speed you are traveling. Suppose you are traveling at a speed of 20 km per hour, that will be shown. Suppose you are traveling at a speed of 80 km per hour, isn't it? That can be seen, isn't it, on the meter. Okay, so that you have in the scooter, you have in a motorcycle, you have even in cars, buses and other vehicles. So in the dashboard of a car, note that one of the meters has km per hour written in one corner. Now if you haven't seen it, just go and see in your car. Okay, if you, whether you have a car or a bike or a scooter, just go and see. There you will see there is a round dial kind of thing, and there on one side km per hour is written. So what is the use of that? That will actually tell you that at how much speed you are driving. Okay, yes, so if you are driving at a speed of 20, it will show you 20 km per hour. If you are driving at a speed of 50, it will show 50 km per hour. So that is called a speedometer. So if you haven't seen it, just go and see it. Okay. It records the speed directly in km per hour. There is another meter that measures the distance moved by the vehicle. This is called an odometer. So you will see 2 meters there. 2 dials. Okay. One dial you will see it's written km per hour, and the other dial you will see it is written only kilometer. Okay. So the one where it is written km per hour, that is the speedometer. Okay, and in the other dial where only kilometer is written, that is the odometer. So what is the odometer? It will tell you how much distance, okay, you are traveling, how much distance you have traveled. Okay, so this slide we are going to do in the next video. Thank you all of you.